Be my chemical. You can be my chemical. You can be my chemical. Y'all wrestling fans don't know nothing about that. You can be my chemical. Go. Everybody's watching. Oh, oh, oh. You can be my chemical. What's going on, people? Your boy, Mad Mike, coming at you guys with a impromptu. Y'all know how I like to do it. You know how we like to do it around here. Actually wanted to talk about something, kind of get you guys prepared for tonight's show of the Heavy Hitters. Myself, Jew Talk Sports, 6-Man K Styles, and you might even see the Don himself. All right, the Heavy Hitters. And B, get away from me. Like, come on, bro. I'm trying to do something. Like, what like, if I smash your ass, you're gonna be whining and crying. So get away from me. All right. So we are indeed going to do a heavy hitter show tonight. So I want to kind of give you guys so I wanted to kind of give you guys a briefing on that, but also if you haven't already, quite a few people have already gotten their tickets for the Red and Black event, our annual event here at Atlanta Falcons Nation. What we do is sit down, have some fun, have a drink or two, have something to eat, talk, party. You never know who's going to be in the building. We got quite a few people that's going to be attending. They've already gotten their tickets. So if you haven't already, hit up Miss Maggie T at Atlanta Falcon Nation on all platforms, including your boy, Man Mike. So if you need the link, again, do not hesitate to hit Miss Maggie, myself up, so we can get that started. All right. So that's one thing out of the way. Also, it's been interesting. We're closing in on 1,000 at the Heavy Hitters. I think we at 730. I think we're at 730. So you be sure to head over to the Heavy Hitters, because that's where our post games is going to be held after every Atlanta Falcons game, preseason, obviously during the season, and we're gonna hold a lot more shows there as well. So again, come on, yo, don't do that. Hey, D Stone, what's going on, pimping? All right, yeah, man, we looking forward to seeing you again, brother. So, like I said, we definitely going to be having some fun, like we did last time, man. Like I said, we did our thing. All right, we definitely did our thing, and I'll be waiting for you guys to get that. It's going to be at a new location this time, but nonetheless, the tickets is $20. Okay, $20 to come holler at your boys. And like I said, it covers everything. It goes also into the teacher student fund. So anything that you guys buy the tickets, all that goes into helping the teacher students throughout the year, that we're going to indeed use that money to donate to the school of our choice, We're going to donate school supplies, all types of things into the school and giving back to the kids, giving back to the students like as well as Mrs. Red, a talk sports. She's a teacher as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of things as far as giving back to the community. But I guess you guys are probably wondering why I'm going live right now and in the pictures right now. So if you guys are all ready, if you do not have any questions, if you have questions right now, if you have questions right now, just go ahead and submit them right now so I can answer these questions. But I do have a topic that I want to about. And I told you guys that I'm going to really focus on, and I really have an eye on this guy this year, because looking at, obviously trying to replace a veteran like Calais Campbell, who has indeed signed the Miami Dolphins, it's going to be interesting to see what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do on the defensive side of the ball. One of the things that I do know personally is that a lot of people are so infatuated with big names and guys that had big names. They're popular, going to the big time popular schools, defensive teams, and teams like the Washington Huskies. They don't give a lot of respect. Why? Because not necessarily a team that you would consider that develops good talent defensively. And one of the players that I'm going to have an eye on is Bralen Trice. I know a lot of people probably saying to themselves, Bralen Trice, man. Bralen Trice, for me, he has that aggressiveness that you look for in defensive guys. You just look for in players in general, because guess what? Yeah. You always want guys to come on with that certain attitude. You always want guys to come in with a certain attack style, and that's Bralen Trice. So Bralen Trice is one of those guys too. For me personally, like, y'all better watch out for him. All right, definitely have to watch for him. I know a lot of people, including myself, are really looking at Arnold Ebiketie to take that next step to be that elite pass rusher, that guy that's going to get 10 plus sacks for the Atlanta Falcons. He's more than capable of doing it. I've done a video on that as well. And, look at him. He has to fix himself. He has to fix one area in particular for me with Arnold Ebiketie. He's just so inconsistent when it comes down to finishing. He doesn't finish well. So he has all the moves, he has all the skill, he has the world. But one of the things about Arnold Ebiketie is that he indeed has trouble finishing the sacks. 6.5 on about 8, 9. I think it was 8.5 sacks in its entirety, as far as his entire career. In sacks, he had 6.5 last year, and could have had 10 games, especially last year where he did not finish a lot of sacks. He made plays, he got up to the quarterback, he pressured the quarterback, he hit the quarterback. He does that incredibly well, but we know for sure that Arnold Ebiketie, is one of those guys that we're looking for him to take that next step and become that elite pass rusher that we so desperately been seeking since our boy Johnny Abraham retired. All right, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, pass rusher in Atlanta Falcons history, Abraham. So we definitely need that type of. We definitely need him to take that next step up. According, also. Grady Jarrett coming back from a torn ACL. He's going to be one of those guys that I'm keeping a close eye on when it comes down to him getting back. He's on vacation. Obviously, we know at taking time. He's on the schedule as far as his rehab is concerned. So we're looking for Grady Jarrett to kind of come back and get back into the swing of things before training camp. He's going to be ready for training camp. So, Man, I'm gonna be honest with Grady. I'm really nervous when it comes down to Grady Jarrett. Really, thank you, Noah E. I'm really nervous when it comes down to Grady Jarrett, and can he stay? Is he gonna be no mishaps? I get really nervous when torn ACLs and knee injuries. I get really nervous with players like that, especially with a guy like Grady Jarrett. Man, he's just been such a great figure for this fan base, just as a player and just as a human being. He's such a good guy, and he deserves the best, and he deserves to have an opportunity to, get back to where we want to be, and that's the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think it's not many people in this organization that deserves it more Grady Jarrett. So I'm really nervous about Grady Jarrett coming back from his ACL. But the Atlanta Falcons are going to need that guy inside that's going to get some pressure. I know we got guys like Kentavious Street. He's going to be fighting for a job, that three-tech position. Obviously, the three-tech position for a defensive tackle, he's the guy that's going to be our pass rush specialist. He's going to be a guy that we put in those situations so we can get after the quarterback from the outside, inside. Kentavious Street is definitely those guys. He's definitely one of those guys that's going to have to step up, because there's a lot of competition in this on this year's team. So Grady Jarrett, obviously, but there's another guy, and I'm definitely going to get to the main topic, but kind of go down the list when it comes down to the Atlanta Falcons defense and the defensive line. A lot of people don't pay too much attention to the defense, so I thought it was very important that I talk about this. And like I said, we're going to have some Q&A tonight on the Heavy Hitters live show also. So again, do not forget, hit that subscribe button on the Heavy Hitters. All right, head over to the Heavy Hitters live show so you guys can tune in for the night show. Myself, Six Man K-Style, Jew Talk Sports. We're gonna talk about something pretty interesting, but another guy on the defense side of the ball, talking about Kentavious Street being the three-tech for the Atlanta Falcons, but also one of the guys that I think is a major part of the defensive team that we did not get a lot. We really didn't see a lot of healthy games from him. I think too with him is that it's really interesting because you see what he and Grady Jarrett can do together. I think this is obviously one of the top. That without doubt, he and Grady Jarrett are a top 5 defensive tackle duo. I just don't think there's any doubt in my mind that these guys are a top 5 defensive tackle duo. And what the Atlanta Falcons need from him is, one, to stay healthy. Gotta stay healthy. We have to stay healthy, man. And this guy is David Onyemata, all right? AKA Mr. David Onyemata, all right? We need him to stay healthy. And one of the things with David Onyemata is that obviously he's very good at rushing the passer, but he's one of the best defensive tackles when it comes down to stopping the run. And I think Grady Jarrett, those guys get instant penetration. That's another thing with him. And I think having he and Grady Jarrett healthy for at least the big games, and a lot of that comes early in the season when we played Pittsburgh and Kansas City and all those guys early. We're going to need Grady Jarrett and we're going to need David Onyemata to stay healthy and to get past the first couple of hurdles. First game, we got to seek our revenge when it comes down to Grady, to Arthur Smith. I don't say seek revenge, but we want to make a impression on him. We want to make sure that this dude, you know, um, I like I said, love him to death when it comes down to Cordero Patterson and all them. But I think the Atlanta Falcons need to. Atlanta Falcons right now, they got to. We have to make an example. We got to make an example out of him. You know what I'm saying? He did not finish the season the way that I thought he should have. And it just seemed like it was no passion. There was no passion with him. It didn't seem like he wanted to make the necessary changes when it came down to the offense. It looked like he just pretty much gave up on the idea of going back to what this offense was. And, you know, we didn't do a lot of things. Obviously, we had guys that were hurt. But at the end of the day, man, I didn't think Arthur Smith gave his all when it came down to the offense. I think he was experimenting a hell of a lot. And in his mind, he may have not thought that Arthur Blank was going to fire him, but the Falcons are in a position now that they just want to look. They want to win. They're looking to win, and you know all this experimenting. Nah, we can't have that experimenting. So, for me, I need the Atlanta Falcons to come out and put them things on Arthur Smith, Cordero Patterson, everybody who's up there in Pittsburgh. And like I said, this is going to be a big time win because this is one of the most storied franchises and elite franchises in the NFL. So always beating the Steelers is a good thing. All right, you always want to set a standard for beating some of the best teams in the league. And one of the things too about the Pittsburgh Steelers is that there's a lot of people that stay in Atlanta that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I have quite a few family members that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And I do not want them to come in, play Steelers football, physically dominate us, get after the quarterback, sack a quarterback quite a few times. I need them to come in and make a mark. I need the Atlanta Falcons team to come out and put them on their ass. I just keep it real. I need a Falcons to put them on their ass, make a statement. Kirk Cousins come out and play some good ball, and that's what we need. So I'm gonna need him to kind of, do that. As well as this particular guy, like I said, we got Braylon Trice, we have Arnold Ebiketie. Another guy, and shout out to Jew Talk Sports for actually doing a video on this particular guy to kind of keep an eye on as well, is the defensive edge guy and D'Angelo Malone. Now, I believe D'Angelo Malone has a lot of potential, but when you look at D'Angelo Malone, man, I think the thing with him is that he has the athleticism, but hasn't had a lot of reps. And I think this is one of those moments too for him. There's a lot of guys that's on the team right now and that's going to have opportunities, but with so much depth on the D line, it's kind of hard going to see how many snaps you be in on. I know that was lame in here, y'all, but it's going to be real hard to see how many snaps he's going to be in on. So D'Angelo Malone is one of those guys that I'm really going to kind of keep an eye on. I love his athleticism. He's a guy that you can put him on special teams. He played well on special teams. I've seen him in middle linebacker positions. He's a guy with his athleticism, his size. You can put him in the inside, outside, use him as a blitzer. And this is something that Jimmy Lake and his defense, these guys love to blitz guys from different spots on the field. And I think this defense is going to highlight a lot of our athletes. And I think D'Angelo Malone in this particular system with the Jimmy Lake, these guys, and also with defensive coordinator slash head coach Raheem Morris, you go back to how he looked in with the Rams. The Rams team, they did a lot of stunts. They did a lot of movement. It was a lot of movement up front. So this particular scheme and system for D'Angelo Malone is going to be really good for him to showcase his skills. So he's another one of those guys that I'm going to keep a close eye on as well as D'Angelo Malone. So he's going to be fighting for a roster spot as well as a guy like Lorenzo Carter. I think Lorenzo Carter, with his obviously with his experience with this team, and we know that for a fact that Lorenzo Carter is going to be one of those guys that's going to get you 3 to 5 sacks a year. He has that ability. So the Falcons are not in a position where they need guys to be a 15, 20 sack guy. They just got enough guys. If the Falcons have at least 6 players that can get you 5 to 8 sacks, that's a lot. Okay, that's about 40 sacks right there. But it's not so much all about the sacks for me. Also, it's the turnovers. If we can find a way to continuously create turnovers and get turnovers, because the Falcons do not get a lot of interceptions. That's another thing that plagued us last year. We got a lot of sacks. We got about 42, 43 sacks last year. So we got some decent amount of sacks, but we did not create turnovers. We did not catch the ball. We did not intercept the ball. And this is why I made that hot take when it comes down to AJ Terrell is that, yes, he's a fabulous cover guy. He's a shutdown corner. All right. He can play zone. He can play man. He can play man. He can tackle. He can blitz. He can do it all. But if you're not going to get interceptions, and I think he's had 1 interceptions in the last 2 years or so, that's not good at all. All right, that's not good at all. You got to do better than that if you're going to be, if you're going to put up 20, if you're going to get paid $20 million a year. We need our DBs to get sacks. Jesse Bates can't be the only DB that's in here getting interceptions. And this is not just AJ Terrell. We got guys like D. Alfred. These guys get their hand on the ball, but they always end up dropping it. Richie Grant. I did a video on him today, so check that out also. A lot of those guys, they get their hand on the ball, but they end up dropping it. All right, Clark Phillips, all these guys, you guys got to step it up and get these interceptions for the Atlanta Falcons. No more excuses. I don't want to hear that defensive line is getting pressure. Look, when you get pressure, when you get that opportunity, come down with the freaking ball. The Falcons have not been coming down with the ball, and I think that's one of the biggest things and the biggest issues when it comes down to this defense and the Falcons getting damn good field position and having more opportunities to score touchdowns. Is that we don't get the ball in enemy territory, right? We have to get in enemy territory. We have to get more opportunities in the red zone to get touchdowns. And we cannot continuously rely on Young Wei Koo to kick field goals. We need touchdowns. We need interceptions. I am sick and tired of looking at Young Wei Koo. I love him to death, but I'm tired of looking at him. I'm sick of it. I only want to see him for the extra point. I do not want to see him at game after game after game. We 3 points down, or we tied in the fourth quarter, and we need a field goal to win the game. I am fucking sick and tired of looking at Young Wei Koo. I am fucking tired, okay? I don't want to see him no more. I do not want to see Young Wei Koo ever again, all right, in the fourth quarter. I want this defense to be taken over. I want our running game to be, I want our running backs to be running the damn ball, and I want our quarterback to be handing off and eating and chewing up some clock. Checking the ball down to our tight ends, getting the ball to the fullbacks and the flats so they can get 2 or 3 yards and end up getting another first down. I want to see these types of things. I'm sick and fucking tired of looking at Young Wei Koo every game, full quarter. He's on the damn field. Early in the game, first, second quarter, we see him 2-3 times because we cannot convert touchdowns. We cannot convert in the red zone. We need these guys to get touchdowns. I am sick and tired of looking at Younghoe Koo. Okay, so we need this. We need to get touchdowns. Okay, so Younghoe Koo, we need touchdowns. That's what we need. So, Jet Black, what's going on? Look, Jack, if you Black bro, if you like Younghoe Koo, I love him to death. But I need to see more of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier in that red zone. I need to see more of Kyle Pitts in that red zone. I need to see more of Drake London coming down with the ball after he's route. Like, I need to see Kirk Cousins, just barely inching it past the defender and fitting into the tight spaces for a touchdown. That's what I need to see. I need to see Younghoe Koo in extra points when we've got 6. Okay, we need him in when we need that 7th point. So I love Younghoe Koo to death, but I know you guys love Younghoe Koo to death. But I'm sick and tired, especially in the first quarter. I don't mind so much in the first in the fourth quarter, because if we are close in the fourth quarter, that means we got a chance to win it. So I don't mind too much in the fourth quarter, but I'm sick and tired of watching him every first, second quarter. We looking for him to get a field goal so we can get some points on the board. Defense plays well in the first quarter, second quarter, and then we come out in the second quarter, third quarter, we end up getting a couple of turnovers, and then offense get 1 touchdown, and then we can't score again. So we need our offense. So, like I said, you guys got any questions? Leave them questions. I got you, Noah. But the biggest thing that I really want to talk about right now is the guy that's on the screen, and this is Zach Harrison. There was an article put out, I believe it was Scott Kennedy, or it may have been Daniel Flick, the guys at SI, and it was basically saying that Zach Harrison is seeing a lot of team snaps. Okay, a lot of first team snaps, and this is no surprise to me, because when I go back and I saw how the Atlanta Falcons were using him, I really believe this person. I think this guy's going to be a special player for this Falcon defense. This guy stays healthy, he's going to be a special player. He done put on 10 to 20 pounds. You seeing this guy? This dude is freaking massive. He's freaking massive. I don't think you guys realize how special this kid can really, truly be. This dude is going to be a baller. All right. I saw him last year. And one of the things that stood out to me when it come down to him is just like, he was in Calais Campbell's spot. He was in Calais Campbell's spot. They use Calais Campbell inside and on the right side. Typically, you see Calais Campbell line up on the left side of the defense. He took over that spot, and he did quite well, and he was getting in the backfield quite a bit. So when we talk about Calais Campbell, love him to death, but I think the best thing for the Atlanta Falcons is to show show what these young kids can do. The Brandon Douglas, Braylon Trice, who I was talking about earlier, Arnold Ebiketie. You got Rook Ororo, okay? He's another one of those guys that you got to kind of keep a close eye on, as well as getting after the quarterback and stopping the run and whatnot. And like I said, Rook, he could be that Grady Jarrett replacement, or at least split a few snaps with him, just in case Grady Jarrett might be on a snap count coming off of a torn ACL. So the Falcons, man, I really believe that Zach Harrison, and this is something that K-Styles. So if you guys did not know, K-Styles was the one that really introduced me into Zach Harrison. I'm not a big Ohio State fan. I'm not big on watching a lot of their guys because most of their guys, they come out extremely talented, but they deal with a lot of injuries. They have a lot of injuries, and they just don't live up to the hype. Most of Ohio State guys just do not live up to the hype. These guys are extremely talented. They have the size, the build, but this guy and Zach Harrison, man, he did not have a lot of sacks, but this dude was hell on ice, right? This dude was a damn disruptive force in the middle of that defense. He was a disruptive force with the not only last year and the limited snaps that he did, but you saw him play in his last season with the Buckeyes, man. Zach Harrison was all over the place. And like I said, he's one of those guys that don't get a ton of sacks, but he get a ton of pressure, and he's always in the backfield. One of the things that Raheem, Jimmy Lake, and they preach this season with the Atlanta Falcons is that they want guys that's going to get after the quarterback and not so much sacks. They want guys that's going to disrupt up front. They're going to consistently get in the backfield. These guys are going to consistently get tackles for losses. These are the things that define with the size to be able to get off of tackles. That's another thing. Be able to get off of the offensive lineman, use your length, and not get swallowed up by a lot of these big, long the tackles with the long arms. Those are some of the so much trouble is because they can get their hands around, they can slow you down, and a lot of them use their hands to long arms as a defensive lineman. Guys are the most. These are guys the most successful, and he actually did a study. Is that most of the guys they end up having a lot of sacks and a lot of pressures. A lot of these guys end up. A lot of these are exactly that. So most of the guys with long arms, the length, the size, are the ones that get at the quarterback and have the most sacks. So this is something that causes a lot of issues when it comes down to the not Atlanta Falcons, but the offensive linemen for other teams. These big, long guys. Because if you look at Aaron Donald, he's about 6'4", 300 pounds, but this dude got that dude got long arms like a goddamn gorilla, okay? That dude got arms like a fucking gorilla. And it's hard to get a hand on him because he's always constantly chopping, and he has very long arms. So this is another thing when it comes down to him, Zach Harrison, that he has at his disposal is that he can get the ball, all right? He can get those offensive linemen off of him. So that's one thing for me that I'm going to keep an eye on when it comes down to Zach Harrison. So, and before we kind of slow it down, if you guys don't have any comments, any questions besides Noah here, Noah says, good God, don't do that to me, all right? Like YouTube, I always want to send me ads and shit. Like even when you got premium, they want to send ads and stuff at you. But you can be my chemical. So Noah, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, so I'm gonna just say Thematol Maker. Rise up. What's called? Can Bijan Robinson win Offensive Player of the Year? Yes, he can. Bijan Robinson can win Offensive Player of the Year, but I don't expect him to. But it really depends on where the Atlanta Falcons they are as it pertains to Tyler Algier. We know that you don't pay $100 million for a quarterback, and this quarterback is going to be handing the ball off to his running backs. Okay, that's this is the biggest thing. These are the two biggest factors in Bijan Robinson being able to win Offensive Player of the Year is that it depends on where the Atlanta Falcons are with Tyler Algier. Okay. It really depends on where they are with Tyler Algier, whether they see him within the offense, because the Falcons went out and they got a ton of wide receivers. They traded Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore. They signed Darnell Mooney. Okay? They brought in Ray McCloud. All these guys are speedsters. So you didn't bring in all these wide receivers just so you can hand the ball off to Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Like it's just that's just the reality of it. You don't spend over $200 million, okay, in contracts on the offense side of the ball just to hand the ball off to your running back. Okay, that's just the reality of it. And I think a lot of people are misguided when it comes down to this Atlanta Falcons offense. Is just, certain guys, especially Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and where he's going to fit in this offense. I think he's going to play a vital role, but when it comes down to it, you don't pay over $200 million in contracts on the offense side of the ball, and most of it comes via the passing game. To hand the ball off to their running back. So it really depends on where they see Tyler Algier. If his production goes down, but his value to the team goes up. And what I mean by the value of the team goes up, you're going to use him in those situations where he's going to get touchdowns. All right, you're in the red zone, use Tyler Algier. Then third and short, second and short, use Tyler Algier. When you need to pound a soft defense and loosen them up with a big physical back like that, you're going to use Tyler Algier in those situations. But it really just depends on where they see Tyler Algier in this offense, as well as a guy like Jace McClellan. Like I told you guys too, he's one of those guys. He's a silent killer. Like if you go back and look at Jace McClellan's numbers at Alabama, and we know Alabama is very good at developing their offensive linemen. They recruit a lot of good offensive linemen. And McClellan is another one of those guys that, you got to take in consideration, because again, we don't know if they are really impressed with his ability, not only as a runner, but as a pass receiver. Like he's very good in all that. So he can catch the ball out of the backfield. If you look at his last couple of years at Alabama, man, this dude had 15 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, and then 8 touchdowns last year. And that's in, I think, 180, 160 carries each year. So this guy can get in the end zone. So Jace McClellan is another guy you have to keep a close eye on. I think they still have guys like Avery Williams. He's coming back from a torn ACL himself, so we don't know how he's going to be able to fit within this offense. And then you have Carlos Washington. He's another one of those guys. They may or may not see anything in him. I doubt he makes the team, but it's a lot of question marks when it comes down to this running game and the running back position for the Atlanta Falcons. For me to just say, all right, Bijan Robinson is going to be the Offensive Player of the Year, because the Offensive Player of the Year at that position, he has to get over 20 touchdowns, in my opinion. You got to get close to 20 touchdowns, in my opinion, to be able to win that particular, to win that award, Offensive Player of the Year. He has to get 20 touchdowns. So this is why I say I don't know with Bijan Robinson is that we just don't know where and how they see Tyler. Confident in Tyler Algier when it comes down to this offense. I think we all are confident and believe in Tyler Algier, but to say that Bijan Robinson, he has to get 20 touchdowns. I think that's the only way Bijan Robinson wins the offensive player of the year. He has to have 20 touchdowns, in my opinion. So that's another one of those guys. Will Michael Vick quarterback for the Falcons this year? Absolutely not. Michael Vick is too damn old, and Michael Vick retired a couple years ago. So he ain't coming nowhere near it. He ain't coming nowhere near this football field. So that's the end of Michael Vick. But when it comes down to this Atlanta Falcons offense, if you don't have Zach, I'm going to see first down. But like, if you guys don't have any more questions, continue to, like I said, it's possible he's a running back and he's also a receiver. So I'm not discrediting Bijan Robinson, because he has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield as well as run the ball. He's an excellent runner, so he can get 20 touchdowns. The thing is, when you have that many weapons on this team, the Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Tyler, like, you got a lot of weapons on this offense, so it's going to be hard and difficult to kind of get one guy the ball and make sure that he's the sole proprietor of this particular offense. And I just don't see that happening. Falcons have way too many weapons on this team to just solely focus on Bijan Robinson. Although I think he's going to have that Christian McCaffrey effect on this team, and he's going to get the ball a hell of a lot. But the Falcons got a lot of playmakers. They got a lot of playmakers, and we might see guys take a slant to the house, and they end up getting a touchdown. So it's going to be hard for a running back to get that many touchdowns, in my opinion. But he can do it. He has the ability. He has the skill set. So I'm not going to say that he has that he won't do it. So again, check us out tonight on the Heavy Hitters live show. Again, if you guys do not have any more questions, you guys can drop them in real quick. And like I said, head over to the Heavy Hitters live. Okay, don't forget the live, because we are live on the Heavy Hitters live channel. All right, so with that being said, like I said, with Zach Harrison, I think Zach Harrison is going to be a guy to keep an eye on, that I personally believe that he is going to be a star defensive line. I think he's going to be a damn star. He has the size. He's picked up a lot of weight. He's picked up a hell of a lot of weight. To be honest, I think he picked up like 10, 15 pounds in the offseason. So this dude is a monster. The athleticism that he has, the ability that he has. I think Zach Harrison is another one of those guys to keep an eye on. But like I said before, man, this defense is going to be a whole lot better than what a lot of people are giving them credit for. This team is going to be a hell of a lot better. I promise you that. So with that being said, you guys continue to support your boy here at Mad Mike Sports, as well as Atlanta Falcon Nation. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. All right, $20. Holla at your boys. Holla at your boys. K-Style, Mad Mike, Jew Talk Sports. Got some content going, and I'll continuously drop more content for you guys. Do not underestimate this Atlanta Falcon defense. A lot of people are underestimating this Atlanta Falcon defense because we're not sitting out here spending. We passed on a few guys that you know, that was in the spotlight in college. Okay, them Alabama boys, right? And I get it. I know y'all love them. I know they look good. The Jeberaeel and all those guys, the Turner, yeah, they did look good. But at the end of the day, I think the Atlanta Falcons have some damn good players of themselves. You don't always have to spend a first-round pick in order to get damn good defensive linemen. Grady Jarrett was a guy we got in the 5th round. So you can develop. If you can find them, you can develop them. These guys can play. So with that being said, this has been your boy, Mad Mike. Continue to support them. Hit that subscribe button for more Atlanta Falcons news, Atlanta Falcons fan questions, Atlanta Hawks content. You know, we got it all right here. Brand new socks and drawers. We got it all. That's all I got to say about that. I'm out, man. Peace.